Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee, and today we're thought we'd do some color talk, some inspiration idea color talk, and I got all my different swatches and chips out, and new Flow magazine. So we'll see how it goes. We'll get crack-a-lacking. Um, and see where it takes us. So, morning, everybody that's here. One of the nice things I noticed this morning in Ustream is we now have the settings wheel back. So I've allowed links. So if y'all want to promote anything, classes or anything else going on, or artists that y'all want to talk about, feel free. Links are open. Okay, so I was happy to find that Flow magazine is now in my Books a Million. The only other place I used to be able to find it, and that was sporadically, was at Barnes and Noble. And it would be there sometimes, sometimes not. Either that or it just sold out fast. I don't know. But they had a nice big stack of them in my Books a Million. So I did tweet Flow magazine and told them I was happy to find them in my Books a Million, which is only 5 miles from me. And I hear my mom and Denise are still. I'm on the combo message there. So I'm just going to just kind of ignore it. It shouldn't be much longer. But anyway, so I was so happy that Flow is now in my Books a Million. Now, that being said, it is published, it's printed in Holland. I think it used to be printed somewhere else overseas, but I don't remember. Um, so it is expensive. It's 22.50 for a magazine. But let me tell you, every Flow magazine has cutouts, punch outs, inserts, tip ins. It is more like a book than a magazine. Although I have no problem cutting out, and you'll see what I'm talking about here as I kind of show you some of the things that are in it. If y'all have any questions, please put it in caps because we don't have the big blue Q anymore. So if y'all will put any questions you have in caps for me, so I'll know that you're talking to me. All right, so this is the issue 6 of the English version. They've printed quite a few Dutch versions for a while. I don't know how long they've really been in business over there, but here in the States, I believe this is issue 6. And they always have an article about a famous woman, and well, you'll see. I don't want to show you literally every single page, but I do want to kind of give you an idea of the coolness of the magazine. The first thing is usually they have a lot of pages are in that. If you've ever seen the Real Simple magazine, where it's the kind of a matte finish, and then they have the advertising and some of the sections profiles and stuff are in the slick pages. So it's like a combo. The thing about this is so eclectic. They, like I said, they have tip-ins, cutouts, punch-outs, tear-outs, fold-outs. They always have something very cool in their magazine. Hey, Dana. So they always have a thing that says um, this belongs to for you put your name in the magazine. They have their editorials and their contents and all that. This time in this issue, they have a whole section on Ingrid Bergman, which I thought was really cool. I let Hubster loves old movies, so I haven't asked him if he looked. I left it out for him. He gets up at 4:30. I left this out for him to see if he looked at it because he loves old movies and movie stars and things like that. So he probably did, and at least flip through it and look at the old pictures. So there's a whole section on Ingrid Bergman. Then there's like I believe there's 5 of these. 5 of these. You know how Somerset Studio always has the cardstock paper in it that they want you to tear out and use in your projects, which of course I never do that. But in this magazine, they have like 5 different of that weight, that cardstock weight of these girls, and this one is called they're called Flower Girls, and I believe there's 5 of them. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to tear these out and frame them for Boo's room because I think she'll really like these. So there's this one, and they're on cardstock, so I'll be able to find them pretty easy here. There's this one, which just says spoil yourself. There's this one, simplify your life. Let's see here. There's like 5 of them. Let me see where the other ones are. Because in the back here, there's other cards. Let's see, there's a couple more. I know, because I saw them. So that one. Live mindfully. They kind of remind me of an illustrative version of American Girl dolls, which Boo used to like until she grew up and said, I just want only my room to have cheer stuff. So anyway, I've told y'all that story before. Oh, I have to tell y'all this. I don't think Denise will mom. Their mom and Denise. If y'all are watching this recording, Mom and Denise, uh, it was so funny. I just have to tell y'all this because I cracked up. And let me get to my messages here. They're messaging each other right now about the new cheer schedule. But the other day, let's see, I don't want that. The other day, when Mom was on, let's see if I can find it. Hang on. Okay, hang on 1 second, guys. I'm scrolling back. Okay, so Mom and Ken were on an RV rally, and we're on a group message. This just may be if y'all are bored with like this kind of stuff, just ignore it. Don't email me. But so anyway, they were on a RV rally. I got to load earlier messages. Hang on. Okay. And Mom and I and Denise were texting each other. And so Denise is a hoot. I tell you, Denise is hilarious. And so I told them that they were having too much fun and that so Mom was saying, well, we're here. They went to the coast to the RV rally. And Denise goes, well, what are you going to do there? Surf? Because they're at the coast. Now, mind you, they're in their late 70s, early 80s, Mom and Ken. Okay. And Mom says, we're going to eat fish and play nursing home games and visit. And Denise goes, how does a nursing game go? Extreme napping? Walker races? How many fingers am I holding up? Anyway, I just had to share that with you guys. So they're playing nursing home games on their RV rally. Now my eyes are watering. So anyway, that's not funny, Dana. So they were texting that back and forth from in the RV rally. Hey, Barb. Yeah, that's the kind of games they play at their RV rally. So that was Denise and Mom. Okay, so I know, right, guys? If you're watching the recording, me and the girls in chat are ROFLE. All right, so back to the Flow magazine. So I want to cut these out and or tear them out. They're perforated and probably frame them for Boo's room. Then they also have all kinds of little illustrative art like this. They have cool new ads and things coming out. What are you up to? They ask 3 creative entrepreneurs, and I think one's in North Carolina, I think. And so they have a little mini interview with different creative people. And it's all about all kinds of things, paper, but it's also like little articles. It's kind of like a cross between an Real Simple magazine and a paper arts magazine. It's kind of like a combo thing. And so this is a woman that was an artist that went into food, went into restaurants, went into being a chef. Then I think she married a photographer. I haven't read the whole article yet. I just got this. And so there's a whole like write up about her. So it's just, and then they always go someplace in the world and do a feature. on some place in the world. Then, like I said, they have their nice uh, cardstock cutouts, punch outs, and perforations. And so just all here's a whole thing on what to do with old books, making birdhouses, and what to do with old books. And then here, this was really cool. This is a little book diary, a journal of the books you read and share. And it's I haven't taken it out yet because I wanted to do it here on camera. So it's got a little piece of tape, just a little round piece of that, that kind that you can roll off with your finger like that, like a little. It's not really a glue dot, but a semi glue dot, and it's got a little book diary. Yeah, and yeah, Barb said that she. Hang on, guys, I froze for a second with incoming mail. Barb says she will not be streaming this week or next. So if y'all are watching the recording, Barb's taking a couple of weeks off. And yeah, of course, it's just not the same on a Friday afternoon without Barb. Of course, I only get to make every other one or so because I'm usually I have things I'm doing on Friday afternoons, but uh, airport runs and all different kinds of things on Fridays, and or I'm coming back and forth from Denise's, or just it's so I don't get to make every single one of Barb's shows, but yeah. Okay, so book diary. This has it's just a little mini book. Let's see, I'm not sure how many pages. It has 30 pages, half of which are a book, shared books, and then every page has a little, or every other section has a little illustration or a little quote. Then books kept, and it has the date, the title, the author, and why I want to keep it. Whereas the other one is who I shared it with, the summary of the book, thoughts, and all that. So it's just a really cute little book. This would not hold all the books I've read, but I guess you could make it could be an idea of. I wish I would have done something like this when I first started reading. I try to get Cam to do it because he reads voraciously, but I think when he has free time to do any writing, it's going to be drawing in his book because he reads and writes constantly. But I think that, so I gave him a little book, like not this, but like a molly, like a little, one of the small mollies to keep all his books in. I think he might have started it, but he's probably already, would have filled that up anyway. But it would be, it is cute. It's a cute little thing to keep. If you would make one of these yourself, every month or two or however long you read it. Who's the artist that paints the girls? Let's see here. Oh, it's on the very first one. Let me see if I can read it. It's written on red. Emily Winfield Martin is a Portland, Oregon based artist, illustrator, and author, and creator of the Black Apple Shop of prints, stationery, and other goods on Etsy. Her books include the forthcoming Daydreamers, Dream Animals, Odd Fellows Orphanage, the Black Apples Paper Doll Primer. Find her at EmilyWinfieldMartin.com. Her blog is theblackapple.typepad.com, and her Etsy is theblackapple.etsy. There you go. I don't know the day she was born or her hair color, but just just kidding, Carol. But anyway, there's all her information. So if y'all like her art, that's who she is. Thanks for asking. Hey, Jamie. Okay, so this comes, like I said, with a little glue dot stuck in there. So I wanted to show y'all that. And then it's got all different articles, and it's just, they'll have like just things like this, just mixed in. They'll have a section on food, living simple, 5 ways to begin again. And you can get Flow on your tablet, but the only thing about that is you don't get all the cool paper things. That to me is what really makes the magazine, is all the cool paper stuff. I did get the 365-day Flow quote on my iPad, and it is real cool. It shows, I'll get that for y'all in a minute. My iPad's charging in the other room. And so let's see what else. Then they have, here's some of the slick advertising that they put in there. Different things that are like, this is called Rub-a-Dub-Dub. It's all kinds of bathroom things that you can buy. Tells how much, where you can buy it, the website and how much. See, web shopping. And 50s things, made from scratch, all kinds of things there. Here's the article on anger, more advertising, some more food articles and recipes. So it's a little bit of everything. This is about a girl. I haven't read these, like the whole articles. I've skimmed them. She did a room in her garage. Renowned British photographer Debbie Treloar converted her garage into a room for guests. Secretly, she wants to live in that mini house. In fact, she stays there every chance she gets. So it showed how she converted a garage room into a room. Here's the 365 days of Flow. And it is a cool app. It gives you, now if you have it on your phone, you only see this much. If you have it on your iPad, there's a whole nother section around it of art. So it's cool. It's only a $1.99 app, and it's 365 days of quotes and little art. Family portraits. Here's different, like items that make up a person, like an old phone and glasses and a stapler and old scissors, things like that. So here's one that's all cooking utensils, tea related things, tool related things. So it's I just love Flow magazine. I was so glad that they started carrying it now in my Books a Million. All right, so then at the very back they have labels. Sometimes they'll have all different things. Now I have probably about 3 or 4 flows. There's a couple I don't have because I couldn't find them, and so I'm not sure what's in the back of every one. This one has little labels, and this is what made me want to get out all my swatches again to readdress all the swatches and colors and ideas that you can do. Although these are just made by little made by labels. Let's see, guys. Can y'all see okay? For some reason, the light just shifted. Hey, Trudy. Anybody else that popped in? So these are little labels, and they're all perforated. So you can cut out, you can take apart all the little made bys. And what's cool is there's different kind. Like this has sewing. There's like a sewing machine, some little sewing pins and a needle, and here's some scissors. And there's just all different kinds. Some are just blank like this. This one has made with love, and they've got the little, let me pull that so you can see. They have the little, and they have cutest little illustrations on everything. All right, then this one is all handmade, and these are like there's a reindeer, a little gnome, a pencil, and they're just all different kind of little doolollies, if you will. So you can kind of see them. I waited to do this till I streamed so y'all could see them. All right, this one has some little beads on a string. And I like the way they're perforated. It gives it even more of a little handmade kind of cool look. Let me punch out that little thing so you can see. So cute, SEW. Yes, they are so cute. Then here's some more just kind of general on craft looking. And see, the backs are all pretty too. See the backs? Then these are like, look like they're on some, a faux craft paper. going to show you all the different kinds you get. This is why this magazine is $22.50 because of all these little special things that they put in them. Okay. That type. And then here's a whole bunch of page of little illustrated faces, which I just think is cool. I don't know. There's probably somewhere in here tells you the different artists that do these things. So you can see. Yeah. Okay. And then the final, I think this is the final one is from me. They all say from me on them, and they're kind of look like, like a letterpress type printing thing. Okay, and they're all cool on the back as well. They have different colors. See on this particular one. So they're just all different kinds of little things like this in Flow magazine that makes it really special. And if you love paper, you will love Flow. They're coming out with the Flow Diary for 2015. And what else? Just all kinds of cool articles. Here's a Mastering the Granny Square. If y'all have never done granny, that's the only kind of really, other than just straight crocheting where I make the collars, my hala collars. This is the only kind of crocheting I really know how to do, granny squares, and my grandma taught me how. And it has the little basic pattern for it in there. So anyway, hooray for today! Well, I'm sorry you're not feeling well, Barb. We'll miss you for a couple weeks. Get better and vibe. Okay, so that's that. So it did make me want to see, re-seen. They have these kind of things in all their magazines, but it made me want to pull back out my different swatches. So on one of my bookcases, now once I've set it down, it's going to be hard to probably pick back up and show you. But I have a lanyard here, and on the lanyard, I have all of these different swatches and swatch ideas. So I thought I'd show this along with our, let me grab these two notebooks real quick, along with some of our color swatch ideas. So I pulled out my small little color swatch book and my humongous 3-ring idea book. Now, in these kind of books, I keep like all kinds of stuff, not just the swatches. It's anything that will come to me or any ideas I want to keep. It's not really a glue book. My glue books are separate. And a glue book is like, let's just say a composition book where you find cool things in magazines or things you want to keep and you just like cut them out and glue them in. These are really not glue books, although I have glued things in them. They're more idea, inspiration, and notes. And the thing about something like one of these type of books, whether you use a small 3-ring, like this one is, about that size, or the typical 3-ring binder size, although this one is a 2-inch, so it is thick. Whether you use something this big or just a small one like this, depending on your life and if you're out and about or if you're more of a homebody or what, it's you can always, let's say I drew a sketch down on some little in a notepad or on something else. I can tear that out and throw it in one of these books with a piece of washi tape just to keep that idea. Because I'm just really big on, guys, if you don't write it down, draw it out, sketch it out, note it down, even if it's just on a Post-it note, you are going to forget it. So one of these days, I would love for us to put together. I say us because when I'm talking on these shows, there's a whole bunch of us here. So whenever I'm doing a project live, it's us to do a type of inspiration type notebook where we will discuss different color, inspiration, mind mapping, all different kinds of ideas to collect in our book. And I want it to be like an inspiration rather than a specific uh, it won't be like any kind of a pattern kind of thing. It will be more of an inspiration type where you collect what inspires you. And these are like jumping off points for you to work, whether you're in, a drawing, painting, fabric arts, whatever type of creative thing you do. It's an inspiration for that, regardless of what type of medium you are in. Okay, hang on, guys. Let me do a pop out chat because my scroll bar is not staying. Let me get my pop out chat here. My scroll bar is not staying at the bottom. I'm sure they're working on that. I'm sure they are. Ustream, I'm sure, is working on that issue. Okay. So there we go. All right. So hopefully that will um, keep my scroll bar going. We'll see, guys. I don't know. We'll see. Let me do a test here and see how it looks. Okay. All right. So I thought I'd first show you some different ideas with swatches, color swatches, and then some of the girls, Darcy UK and Care, Queen City Care, and we've had different ways and talks about doing different kinds of swatches, color swatches, idea swatches, techniques, etc. But this can also be transferred into writing any of it down. Color ideas, instead of having just swatches, you could write them down. The other thing that I think will be cool is, and I haven't done this yet, but I pulled it to either test or just to give you the idea, is when you have an old, like you can get old notebooks or beat up old, 3-ring binders. This is a smaller one. This is not your standard size. But to use one of these type, just take the rings out, cut it out of a notebook, out of a 3-ring binder of whatever size, and use this. You could hang this up and hang your swatches off of it. It would look cool and look pretty, but it would also be useful where you can flip through your color swatches or your techniques, or if you do mind mapping and want just some new visual and word aids for that, you could put words on here, which I have done tons of these little books like this, cutting out 2-inch squares out of cardstock. Now I just got to get it off my lanyard here. Let me get one off the lanyard because this is all connected to one lanyard. Is to take, and you can do these in color, but if you want to do little words or quotes, it's, to me, it would be better to do it on white, and then as your words and quotes accumulate on, and this is just one of those little 2-inch rings that you can buy. Get them at the office supplies store. They're cheaper than they are at the craft store, but you can get the bigger ones even in the craft store over in the embroidery floss section. In the embroidery floss section, you can get these big rings because they're made in that case. They're made to put. Let me give you a few ideas here. These floss cards, these plastic floss cards on those rings. Now, another thing that you can do with these floss cards, because they're plastic, is you can take your washi tapes, if you want to carry around a few washi tapes with you, and just wrap a couple of rounds of washi tape And you can even do your own little swatch of all your washi tapes. My washi tapes all sit right here in a tray so I see them all. But if you don't know how to, if your washi tapes are all in a drawer, put a couple, even just one, wrap around on one of these little plastic cards and put them on one of these rings, or put them all on a ring, and then you can have all your washi tapes right in front of you, so you know you can flip through all your washi tapes and see which one you have. Yeah, and they're in the embroidery section. Those, especially the big rings. These you can get up to like a 2-inch ring at like Staples or Office Max or whatever, and they're cheaper at the office supply. But if you want the nice big, I mean those big Mama Jamba rings, you can. They're over in the embroidery floss section, along with these little plastic things. Hey, Colleen. And so you just take the little plastic, and you can get like 100 of these for a couple dollars. I mean, they're really cheap. And then just that way you could put all your washi tapes on one ring instead of embroidery floss, which you could do embroidery floss too. That's what they're made for. But you could put your washi tape on it, and then you can have like your own swatch book of washi tape. Or if you're like you have what are those traveling what's the ones, filofaxes. If you're a filofax person, these will fit nicely in your filofax. If you put a 2 or 3 rounds of tape, and you want to just have some tape with you without carrying a roll in your around with you, you can just carry a few of these little plastic things around for using. All right, so there's that idea there. So if you have the old notebooks, take the old notebook things out. Now, depending on how you cut them out, I had put tape on this one. It depends on how nicely you cut out. You might have a rough edge there, but this is just the middle. This is like just the spine of a notebook. All right. And this happens to be a kind of a short, squatty office type. I don't even remember where I got this, but I pulled it out just to give you all another idea. But you can either hang this on the wall or set it down like you would your phone flat, your phone. What do you call those things? There's dust on there. The phone Rolodex type thing. But instead of Rolodex, you just have these rings here, and you can put your techniques, your colors, and you can put the different, instead of having them on a loose ring, you could have them on a 3 ring. All right, so there's that idea. Okay, um, so let me say hi to anybody that might have come in. Oh, we got a lot of people has popped in since I guess maybe the email went out when I hit record or when I hit broadcast. So, hi everybody. Paula, Jamie, Carol, Jeannie, Trudy in Spain, Noodle, Dana, Colleen, guests. Okay, so there's those few ideas. Now, a lot of y'all have probably seen some of these swatch ideas and the color thing here, but I'm just going to kind of review it because I do want to elaborate on these ideas as we go along, and really want to develop in us into keeping an inspiration notebook. And I really recommend having a notebook, a 3 ring notebook. So you can see I've thrown all kinds of things in here. Having a 3 ring notebook rather than like a spiral journal or something like that, because you want to be able to add stuff to it. You want to be able to put pages, tear outs, ideas, inspirations, and put them in. And it's not supposed to be like neat or it's just to keep your ideas so you don't forget your ideas and your inspiration, so that you always have ideas and inspiration, because there's really no excuse for any of us that are in the creative fields or have the internet to not have ideas. And so yeah, and so then I also have my big 3 ring one here. So I'll just give you a few of those ideas for now. But I do want us to start collecting them. Okay. Yeah, I know, Julie, chat just comes and goes for a lot of people, including me. I'm another really big person on post-it notes, and especially while I'm streaming or working and have an idea, I will throw down. I love my post-it notes, but then I'll take those post-it notes and I'll transfer them into, some kind of something that I have all my ideas right with me, and then if they're really good ideas, I might develop them into uh, further develop them into like putting them into composition books or my other inspiration idea books. So we really have no excuse not, to say, I don't have an idea. I don't know. I'm not inspired. If you go back and if y'all remember when we did the inspiration, color, and mind mapping things a few years ago, if y'all would have kept all that, you would still have all those ideas. Okay, so let's go back into the swatch thing. So what I did is I just spent some time one day cutting up extra pieces of cardstock. This is just the thinner type, probably 90 weight cardstock into 2-inch squares, using my Crop-A-Dile to poke holes in them and put them on rings. Now, even if you just have one of these, I would recommend having a few different ones. I recommend having, well, I'll show you the different kinds we have here in just a second. But colors, if you don't have color swatches, these are these color swatches, which I have multiple different kinds, but these particular color swatches are from the Basil paper line when they sold color swatches. You could buy little boxes of the color swatches in little boxes to show you all the different types of paper that Basil sold. And they had the different weights, colors, and names on every single one. This is another idea for you for inspiration, is pay attention to the color names, whether it's like this type of thing, the Basil chips, or whether you're just using the paint chips. Okay, you can do the same thing, collect paint chips. Better yet, your even better way to do this is to use your own paints, whether it be acrylic, watercolor, your neo colors, your colored pencils, even a box of crayons. Take your box of, 96 color crayons and make color swatches. Just do a little color swatch, just do a little color crayon, and either on that side or the back side, write every kind of name that you could think that that color could be called. This one's called basil yellow, but it could called canary, sunshine, cantaloupe. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Uh, the idea is for you to get your brain moving. And if you make your own, it's going to be much more beneficial and creative to you than just using somebody else's, this one unpunched there, rather than using someone else's names and colors, because it will get your creativity and inspiration. You don't Jeannie said in chat, she goes, I don't have any ideas, Dee Dee. Don't email me. Yeah. But just if you will take, and you can make one of these for every one of your uh, products. Make a little thing like this for your acrylic paints, for your neo colors, for your colored pencil, even for your crayons. Make you a little swatch thing like that, just so you know what colors you have. You'll never forget if you have them written down, especially if you even write down the names of your acrylic colors or pencils or neo colors or whatever. You could also just put like You could make a section for all your greens. If you're like a you like all your products and ideas color coordinated, you could do like all your take one for like your acrylic, light green, dark green. I'm just giving you an example. Take all your acrylics and put all the acrylic paints. Make your little notes on the back. Just write small, write the names, write the brand, Americana, green, number, whatever. Then with the green neo colors, your green crayons, your green pencils, so that you have all your greens together, whether it be whatever the product is. I feel a sneeze coming on, guys. So I slept under the fan last night, and so I'm kind of stopped up and I'm going to sneeze. I'm trying not to. Let me grab a tissue. Okay, so you can do that with every type of product. Or you just make one for like all your acrylics. You could make one for your colored pencils. You could make one for your neo colors or whatever, if you have a lot of one kind of thing. The same thing is actually been done here with my basil chip paper chips. So you could do the same thing. I'm just going to take, I have it, all these are on one lanyard. So let me, and I have them hanging up, but I'm going to take them all off the lanyard here and reorganize it. Okay, so you can see that you just put them on a ring, whether it's a 2-inch ring, a 1-inch ring, whatever size, depending on how much you want to work at it. So I took a day to do this one afternoon and cut a bunch of little swatch rings. All right, the other thing that you can do with this, other than color, let me get all my, I don't want them to all fall apart here. Here's the blues and greens, and here's the yellow, oranges, and pinks, and here's the neutrals. Let me get that off of the lanyard. Hang on. I guess I could just let me just open up the thing here. Okay. So these are the basil chips, but you could do the same thing with paint chips or your own color, make your own color chips. Any questions? We good? Are y'all collecting some ideas and writing them in your notebook? All right, so there we go. So there's color chips on a ring, or just some 2-inch little squares of cardstock that you can work with. Hi, Miko. Anybody else has popped in? All right, so now over to the ones that some of the girls have made for me. All right, this one came from Darcy UK, and she did a bunch of chips for me back when we were doing the color inspiration and color names and using names of colors for inspiration. She made me a gazillion little tags, and they're if you have a jelly plate, you could do this with jelly plate. I think she just hand dipped and dabbed and used old paint, like backgrounds and things that she used to put the color names that she printed out and glued front and back, so the tags themselves are not a particular color. Hey, Carrie. And hi, Lucy Jane. But these are just a set of tags with color names for inspiration. So, like for instance, let me just go through a few so you can get inspired here. Cornflower, soft lime, meadow green, silver, black cherry, plum, tan, denim, sand, aqua. See, they're not the tags themselves are not that color. This is just the color name inspiration. Grass green, gray, aubergine, purple, cobalt, holly, baby blue, dusky rose, walnut, mulled wine, grape, salmon, ochre, I mean, I'm just kind of flipping through just to give you a few. Sky, burgundy, gold, black, scarlet, fuchsia, cherry, saffron, duck egg, violet, primrose, terracotta, turquoise, bronze, canary, pumpkin, copper. So you get the idea. They're what colors are called. And that is a great inspiration as well, not only the color swatches, but the color names. So even if you made your own, all you need is a little ring and 2 inch, or you can do it whatever size you want, obviously. Darcy made little mini tags, but you can do whatever size you enjoy and you feel comfortable with. All right. And do color swatches. Like I said, you can even use just Crayola crayons and write all the different names you can think of. You can use their names too, but also think of whatever other colors come to your mind when you put down a lime color. Do you think of spring grass, lime green? I mean, limes, whatever you think of. So collect your color ideas on your own little swatch rings, whether it be something like this or an old 3 ring book ring. All right. So back when we were doing this, we had different divisions of ideas to pick from, and we would do mind mapping off of various different lists, okay, and or words. And so we would take not just one word, but a combination of 3 words to mind map off of, so that you had multiple ways to combine your ideas rather than just one word mind map. In other words, instead of just taking like corn flour and mind mapping off of a circle of corn flour, we would have 3 words. We'd have a color, we'd have a technique, and we'd take either a purpose, or we would do a noun, and we would do 3 separate mind maps. Okay, like you'd have your color, your theme, your I don't even remember all the different ways we divided them up. That's in one of my other books. And that way you would have multiple ways to think and combine ideas rather than just one. Okay, so if y'all remember doing that a few years ago. All right, that was when I had to travel around my house to find a good Wi-Fi connection. Remember when I was trying to stream room to room? Okay. Stink bugs, yeah, those green, they are stink bugs. Those lime green stink bugs. I just saw that, Carrie. I don't know. But the thing about doing that, and let me just do a little rabbit trail here, is if you do something like that, let me just get my pen here. So you had lime green, and Carrie said a stink bug, and let's just say a lime, just because that's what we were talking about. So if you had even just those 3 ideas right there, just that alone, I could think of a whole world and a whole story plot just from a lime green stink bugs. Maybe they live inside of a lime and they come out, in spring. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, but you have to just be able to take a piece of paper, just take you a notebook piece of paper that you will keep in here or that you'll keep in here, and write all those ideas down. I'm telling you, you will never be without an idea. I never want to hear anybody say, I don't have an idea. You hadn't been paying attention. You haven't been doing your homework. Uh, you haven't been, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I just have so much fun here. You haven't been crack-a-lacking. I tell you, that's so much fun to use in the grocery store. I love using that in the grocery store. Okay. All right. So back to the different kinds of tags. All right. So those are the little tags that Darcy UK made me. It's a free app, Colleen. It's called, what is it called? Whip. Let me just tell you the exact name. Pocket Whip. It's called Pocket Whip. And you get a couple of free whip sounds, but you can of course purchase more. I haven't purchased any because I figure this one and this one, those two Pocket Whip apps are enough for me. I think I can pretty much whip anything into shape with those two. Oh, anyway, hey Cass. Hey Tina. Let me double check here. Oh, Carrie, I don't know if you noticed or when it happened, but now on the mouse over we have the setting wheel back. On the mouse over on the chat box we have the settings, so now we can do allowing links. Okay, so now we can allow links. Let's see who else I might have missed coming in. I said hi to Miko. Hey, Lynn, Lulabelle, Lynn, and Tina, and Cass. I think I said hi to everybody else. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We have like over 25 people here, so thanks, guys. It's early. I mean, we are doing good when we have about 30, 35, because we're so early for a lot of people. And a lot of people are at work, too. So, all right. So, yeah, exactly, Jamie. All right. So then Queen City Care. And I even put these things, these were some field guides to trees that Chick-fil-A put out. And they came on this little cool ring that looks like a tree leaf. And it opens up just like a regular ring. They made these for kids. They made these for kids, and they had the field guided trees, and they had all different kinds of leaves. And on the back, like here's the red maple. This is what the red maple, if y'all have ever found those little, we call them fairy wings, those little seed pods that look like fairy wings from the maple. There's a little picture of it, and then this is what it looks like when it's green, and then there's what it looks like when the tree is red. And they have little tips and things. So I just thought this was a really cool little thing. There's the red oak tree, what the acorns look like. And so here's what the actual leaf would look like. And then on the back is a bunch of information about the different types of leaves. So I just thought that was so stinking cool. What a great idea. It is on my Swatch lanyard. Yeah, or helicopters. Yes, because they let them go in there. Yeah, they. That almost sounds like what I'm purring for Barb's cat. When I talk, Barb, is your cat that right there watching? I don't even know if Barb's still here. But Barb's cat watches my stream. I have a whole bunch of pictures that Barb has shown where Chance is sitting watching the screen, watching me. And as long as I don't play, and I won't do it right now because I don't want to scare him, as long as I don't hit my Star Trek door opener siren thing, that he's sitting there watching. Barb left. Okay, Barb had to go. Okay, so all right, if y'all are freaked out by loud noises, step away. Since Barb's cat's not watching, we will show you the Star Trek. Um, you're supposed to put this in front of your door, and you're wave your when you walk by it, it will set that off. Now I don't know if y'all want to hear the siren. It's really loud. All right, get ready. Now it's going to take a second for it to stop. So anyway, that freaks Barb's cat out. All right, back to the our rabbit trail's coming back. Yeah, beam me up, Scotty. Yeah, I need to get one of the communicators. Okay, so anyway, your dogs came running, Cass. Oh my goodness. All right, so here are some of these are the ones that Queen City Care made based on the inspiration. I'm going to take them off the main ring here. These are based on, and there was four different types, on the different types of ideas that we did. Oh, let me turn this around to the main page here. Okay, so she made a separate little swatch for each of the things that we talked about when we did the inspiration show a couple years ago. All right, this one is all colors. Now she just made a small one because she wanted the idea. It's the idea of this. And I think she wrote down some of the ones that we did on the live show. I'm pretty sure. So these are just the basic colors: silver, gold, pink, yellow, violet, turquoise. And she did these all on a scrapbook line of little kids, vintage kids. Hang on, guys. I froze for a second with incoming mail. I know you can still hear me, but I froze for just a second. On this vintage looking scrapbook paper of vintage school themed. And so she did this was all different colors. All right. Then we had different techniques. And this one was a very specific type of combination thing that we did a while back. Different techniques. For instance, you can paint, you can glaze, tiles, markers, colored pencils, brads, definitions, pins, far away. In other words, like macro and mini. I mean, close and far away. That's what we mean by far away. Taking a technique like taking the stink bug, Carrie's example, taking the stink bug and making him really big, or you can make him really small. And just thinking about the size of whatever you're doing when you do your planning out, your thumbnails, your idea inspiration, your mind mapping, whatever, is to think small and big. So it would take a completely different story if you had a tiny stink bug living in a huge ginormous lime, or if you had tiny little limes and a giant stink bug that may eat limes, and that's what makes him lime green. You see, so different sizes will, that's why we have far away. Different sizes will make the whole story completely different. Okay. Am I warm again? Was I cold? Was I cold? Jeannie, I must have missed something. Scroll by. Uh, am I warm again? I'm not sure. All right, so think about the different sizes of when you're getting your combinations. So this had like graphs using an envelope, stencils, tags. This is all different techniques that you can use in your art, craft, visualizing, your mind mapping, or whatever. Just write down all different kinds of techniques, definitions of words. You could do a whole world, a whole everything with just using definitions out of the dictionary. Oh my gosh. If you have a dictionary, you have everything that you could ever think to do. So that was this little swatch. All right. Then we had the colors, the techniques. Then we did a whole section on nouns. If you will take, and y'all know it, person, place, or thing. If you will take and make, actually, it's even better to do a whole swatch of person, place, and things. Okay, if you did that, well, I'll come back to that in just a second because I want to cover the last one here. But if you will do a swatch book of person, place, and thing, you will, and combine them in different ways, you will never run out of ideas. For instance, let's say you did one on person. You could write down every occupation you could ever think of. You could write down every well-known famous person, and I mean everybody from Einstein to J-Lo. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You could and you could write down fireman, policeman, teacher, artist, whatever. Write down every occupation and or type of person you could think of in one swatch. Write down every kind of place. Now, place doesn't just have to be countries, although you could make a different one for every country, every city, every town. You could do just depending on what your type of inspiration, where you're going with your creative. All right. But don't forget to do things like eras. The what you call it's on Outlanders on. I mean, think of that era. Think of just every different time frame, every kind of time um, and place. And that will change up the place. The era will change the place. In other words, the United States now versus the United States, 200 years ago, that kind of thing. So that's what I mean by place. And then, of course, things can be anything. You can do a whole swatch of, any one thing, kitchen things. You could do a whole swatch of kitchen utensils and items. You could do a whole swatch of all your books, all your book titles and authors. Book on one side, title, author on the back. You know, I'm just giving you some ideas, some examples. So if you're watching this, go back and watch the recording and write all this down, and then develop it into your own paths. Okay. Then we did a whole section on art purposes. Uh, and there again, this was kind of specific to the inspiration methods that we were doing at that time. Your attitude, the paths you want to take. Do you want to escape? Do you want to be funny? Do you want to inspire? Do you want to do things kindness? Why do you do art? I mean, of course you make money. But think about all the different reasons, the reasons that you do your creativeness, whether it be, drawing, sewing, uh, painting, music, whatever. Why? This is your whys. Okay. Any questions? Oh, we got a couple of, okay, so I'm just trying to see. Yeah, Queen City Care. Kare is the one that did these little swatches here and sent them to me. Okay, and then Darcy UK is the one that did the little tags with all the color names. These are Basil card chip. Basil, this is all the different papers at the time that Basil sold. And it's the actual piece of the cardstock. So every different kind, there are different kinds of textures as well as colors. So there's that for color inspiration or color swatches. Preferably you'll make your own, because that will give you much more creative ideas if you're using your own acrylics, watercolors, color pencils, crayons, whatever, and writing down the names. Okay, so any questions on any of that? And was any of this helpful, and did y'all get any kind of ideas from this? Did something spark in you when you thought of all this? Did you write something down? Did you think of something? And I know there's a lag, so just kind of wait for the lag. You don't have swatches, that's why. Well, things don't have to necessarily match. They just have to go together. Yeah, and it is a way to keep your paper. Like if you have little bits of papers left, or if you have a lot of scrapbook papers, or if you do paper art and you want to keep those little pieces, just cut them down all to the same size, whether it be 2 by 2, 4 by whatever size you want to keep track of, and just punch a hole in them and keep them on a ring. Now, if they're real thin, you might want to put a reinforcer, the little paper reinforcers. This cardstock is pretty, it's pretty sturdy. It's not pulling right off. But if this was a thin piece of paper, I would put a reinforcer on it so that every time you're flipping through, you're not tearing your papers. Okay? All right, so now onto the notebooks. We're moving on up. We're moving on. Don't forget, for your washi tape swatches, you can either put them on this, or if you want to carry pieces of washi tape with you in your sketchbook or your file of facts or whatever, then put a little bit of that tape on these little rings to carry around, or make you a swatch ring of washi tapes. All right. Okay, so like this here. Let me just put a couple on there just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So you can just put them just like you used to do with your floss. And like I said earlier, the best place to get these giant rings, the big 3-inch rings like this, as opposed to just a 2-inch ring, the best place to get these, the 2-inch or smaller, is at the office supply store. If you want even larger ones, go into the embroidery floss section of your craft store, and they sell the larger rings, and they sell the little plastic floss cards. All right. Okay. So I know some of y'all have already seen these idea of the color swatch inspiration things, but I'm going to just kind of readdress it just because we're kind of on that topic right now. All right. So for color combinations that you may not think of or may not use, there's different places you can go. I love the design-seeds-com.com. They have, and you can get on their email list and get 2 design seeds sent to your email every day. Or you can just go to their site and scroll through hundreds and hundreds of combinations. So if you just want some cool color combinations that you may not think to use, they do a combination of 6 colors on their design seeds, design-seeds.com. But you can also use paint chip, and I had some in here just to show you. You can use the little paint chip cards like this that come with all different kinds of combinations in them. All right. Or just plain paint chips. Or go to like valspar.com or the different paint. They're kind of evading me, the different paint names, the actual paint manufacturers. Sherwin-Williams is another one. If you go to their website, they will have all different kinds of color combinations if you just want some color inspiration. That's what this is about. Color inspiration and cool color combinations. You also can make your own. And you do not have to match them exactly. I obviously do not have every shade in the book of design seeds. But the idea is to get it sort of close and to come up with different combinations. They also will have a picture, a photograph of some kind of use. Like, for instance, if they had watermelons and limes, they'll have actual picture of watermelons and limes and then pinks and greens. Okay, for an example, so that you will have see how they used it in a combination. But don't be limited to how they used it. Make you a little color squares, little swatches. These are just little pen and ink squares. And then with either color pencil, even your crayons, just kind of get close to the color combination and swatch that down, and then do something using those color combinations just to spark the ideas. Okay, I'm just kind of glancing at chat here. All right, and then just swatch them down, do a little doodle in here, I even had a piece of washi tape that kind of coordinated, so I stuck that down. And then what I would advise, even doing more, is to you can mind map off of the colors. For a start, you can think of what do these colors remind you of. For instance, this one you might think of butter, the summer sky, the ocean. This might make you think of different types of fish, But write that down, because if you write down butter, sky, and a angelfish, for example, those three combinations in and of themselves will make you interconnect things in new ways rather than just taking one word in a just your like typical one word mind map like butter and expanding out. Do that, but then also do it with the other colors too. Do it with the sky and expand out the word sky. Take angelfish, expand out the word angelfish, and then with those three separate, totally unrelated words, then those three combined those three into a separate mind map. And you'll just get all kinds of combinations and ideas. I'm just trying to give you some like idea generating tips. Angelfish in butter would be tasty. Carrie, are you hungry? Are you hungry this morning, Carrie? But there you go. If you are into food and chefs and restaurants and a foodie, that might spark all kinds of new recipes. I mean, you just have to don't overthink it at first. Just go with it and think about, what each thing means, and then you can have the percolating session where you're just going to sit down and percolate all those ideas. But uh, the initial part of it is just to get the ideas rolling. Uh, oh, okay. You said not. Okay, not very tasty. Okay. Well, there you go. I just got that little bit of that chat. All right. So I have little pin marks coming off to turn it over and then do further mind mapping on the back. If you want a little notebook like this. Now you can use a bigger notebook and do the same type of thing. If you want this smaller and you can mind map off of on that one page, but don't be limited to that page. Feel free, you can use 20 pages with this one idea. You don't have to get it all like on one little page. Expand it and move it on and take each color and make a page on each color if you want. This is just some of the design seeds combinations that I put together in a notebook to show y'all, to kind of give y'all some more ideas. Okay. All right, so here's another one. This one had some pinks and greens. So what I did is just took those pinks and greens. In this case, I didn't even make full little squares. I just did a little color swatch at the top of those colors. Put a couple of pieces of washi tape I knew I had that inspired me. I separated the pinks and the greens and just did some little doodle while I'm thinking about those colors. You can doodle, you can design, something may come to you. This little flower could look like grapes. A a, instead of using a bunch of grapes, turn those grapes into a flower. That could be a whole forest, grape forest trees. I mean, you just got to play, and I'm telling you, if you write these things down, you will never be out of ideas no matter what creative field you're in, because you are going to be thinking about your specific medium. You're going to be thinking about what you do, whether it be, painting or fabric or whatever. That's going to be in your mind. And so you're going to develop these ideas to what you are, to the person you are, and the creative endeavors you do. Fabric, music, anything creative. I'm just, you're making me want to do all my swatches. Well, don't redo them. Here's the thing. That's why one of the reasons I have so many art journals and notebooks and things is because I'm always developing new things and moving forward. But that doesn't mean that those things weren't useful at the time or can be uh, gleaned from and moved forward, because we're all changing and growing in our creativeness and our skills and our ideas. So you want to, you can transfer your best ones to a fresh notebook every 6 months or a year. Just because you wrote it down once doesn't mean, oh, that's it. That's it. I'm stuck with that. Don't think like that. Think this is an idea that maybe I'll use, maybe I won't. I may never use this idea other than sharing how to use this idea with you. You see? So don't feel like just because you've outgrown something. I mean, for instance, I'll use a perfect example, like in the scrapbook industry. Look how much that's changed over the years, from blocks of pictures to mixed media with one picture with art all around it. So, that's an example of how things grow and expand and change. Well, whatever field you're in can do the same. You can expand and grow and change, but you will always have those ideas, to do something with. If nothing else, it helped you at the time. But don't throw them away. Don't change it. Jamie said she used to do that for poetry, notes of words and one-liners. Now, let me ask you this, Jamie. You say you used to do it. Why don't you do it anymore? Or do you just do it in a different way? How do you keep track of your current ideas? What do you do now? If I may so inquire. And for those watching the recording, artist poet girl Jamie is an artist and a poet. And she has the best sense of humor. She is a hoot. She is a hoot. I'm telling you, her sense of humor is funny. Okay, Dana. Yeah, Dana and Jamie are moving over to the desk. I don't know. Yeah, and this paper is just I've what this particular paper is just printer paper folded in half and cut down the middle. It fit perfectly in this notebook, and I just punched holes. If you have a crocodile, I make a lot of. I use one of these punch drill screw punch hole punch. If you get an idea for a poem, you just actually write it out. Okay. So that's the size of this paper, and I'm sure that they're different in overseas. I know there's like A4, A5, different size. It's a little different than here, but whatever works. I mean, it does, and you can make you can make it any size. And this I use notebook paper and just copy paper. I don't use any fancy paper in all this. It's just it's just for idea collecting. He says, "Yeah, I'm all wise and junk." Uh, hey, Janet. Anybody else that's come in? Let me check my chat here. Carrie, did you hear where I said that we now have the settings wheel on our chat mouse over? So I think I've said hi to everybody. Okay, so the same thing. These are just little different color swatches. In this case, I just had these 4 colors. More ideas. So you can kind of see just some different ideas using different colors. And then I just doodle things down that these are for little color swatch. You can't see if there's pencil there's little boxes and pencil here for color swatches, but they're just whatever. All right, so then to expand on that, what I did in the larger notebook was then I would take some of my cameo cutouts and incorporate some of those. Let me see here. I got all kinds of things in here. Let me get past some of my, I want to get right to the color stuff. So this is basically the same thing, but then I use some of my cameo cutouts to play with more. So I would just use whatever, like, this case I used Neo colors and just did some washes over some little butterflies and whatever to uh, just to have more ideas, because I do like to use my cameo cutouts in different things, and I want to always be able to expand using those. Yeah, exactly, Carrie. Finally got our settings back. So here, these are the different design seed color combinations, and I would just do washes. You can use watercolors. I think I just use Neo colors in this case. You could use your watercolor pencils, or just use plain old Crayola crayons. And I just did a little darker side and faded it to light, so I could just see the different variations in the colors that you could get with it. These are just leftover little pieces of flowers and leaves from my cameo cutouts. And what I did is I would just do some washes over them and then maybe do some little pen and ink doodles over the top. So you can kind of see some splatters just to have it be fun. These I ran through the embossing machine. So I used some cameo cutout butterflies, but I also embossed them. So it gave them texture. You see? And then just use some pen and ink and scribbles and doodles and play. This isn't for anything. These are just idea generators. This could be a card, it could be a page, it could be a journal page, it could be a canvas. It's a start. It's a start of an idea to develop into something else. But if you don't write it down, if you don't write color combinations down, you will forget them. I would never remember sky blue, teal, orange, and terracotta, just like off the top of my head. But if you're flipping through a notebook full of color combinations, they're right there. And it's inspiring just to go back. Okay, hang on, guys. I lost my chat too. Let me restore the chat. Let's see if I can get my chat back here. Let me do a test. Okay. So it will inspire you if you keep them all in a notebook. Here's where I cut out one of those feathers, and I like the idea of a feather with the typewriter. So I just painted or inked this vintage typewriter cutout all in black, but it just has the connotation of writing, whether it's with an old quill pen, with a typewriter, a computer, whatever. It's just, this will inspire me to think of different ways that people write. And then the color combinations. So you can kind of see, ink splatters. Um, this one we did live on stream. We just used shapes. We used triangles and an oval and triangles to do different things. So we just played with that. There's a piece of string, color string. Here's some hearts and roughly paper, music. Think of music in your heart. And I mean, just a gazillion different ways. Plus the color combinations. Another feather, another butterfly. And then here's some different things where we took the different swatches and developed them out into like shells, a clownfish, the beach, the sky. And then these little leftover pieces of paper I ran through the embossing machine and then colored them to look like different clouds. but they're just like real quick ideas. Don't try to sit here and make it look like a finished piece of art. You can, but it's not, you're going to be thinking about the end rather than the process. If you think about the process and enjoy the process, you will generate many more ideas than just concentrating on the finished piece. Okay, here's another one. Different things that we thought of colors, and like I said, a lot of these we did on live stream, which those were not uploaded to YouTube because I wasn't uploading to YouTube at the time, so they got lost. We're only allowed so much memory on Ustream, and after a month or two and or uh, the amount of memory we use, they're deleted. And at the time, now I think, 4 years ago, I wish I was uploading all these Ustreams, but we didn't know that they were going to be deleted in the Great Purge, did we, Carrie? All right. So anyway, like for instance, in these different little color swatches, canaries and the little yellow peeps, the little candies peeps. This looks like an olive, robin's egg, a stormy sky, spring grass, and a tangerine. If you would just take those 6 words and mind map out each of those, mind map out stormy sky just in itself, a robin's egg, an olive, a canary, a tangerine, and spring grass. If you mind mapped each one of those out on its own, no telling how big it would get, and then take all of those, whether it be 3 or 6, and look at the combinations of those things, then you can get just a gazillion ideas. Okay? There again, it's just another cameo cutout, another feathers, some feathers, and then just different ideas that spring out while you're doing that. This one is just from this was a jelly print that I used these 3 items on a jelly print just to use the bird, the feather, and the little geotag of like a little birdhouse home. All right, so there's just different ideas in there for that. Some jelly prints that I really like. I stuck some of those in here. Um, Little quick sketches. This was something with hats. I think I just wanted to, we did this on stream too, some doodles of hats, all different kinds of hats, ways to do hats. Just random jelly prints that I really, really liked. What else is in here? So just thinking about some different colors, some little, just different ideas. Color, there's a tree. I used my cupcake stamp, my hand carved little cupcake stamp, playing with the idea of a clock with cupcakes. And just certain stamps that I had out at the time. I was playing with that. Some ink, dragging through the ink things. I mean, I just got a little everything in here. I'll have sketches, little cutouts, more stamps, just a little magazine color swatch. And then I have all different kinds of some of my stamps cut out and put in some sleeves. I just have a little everything in here. But I wanted to show you that inspiration idea for colors. All right. Any questions? How long have we been here? An hour and a half. That's not too bad. I don't see my chat moving though. Let me scroll. My scroll gets stuck. Y'all's do too. Our scrolls don't stay down at the bottom. Even if I click on it, but it still doesn't stay. So I'm sure Ustream's working on that too. Okay. So there we go, guys. That is kind of like just what I wanted to cover this morning, at least on this particular episode of, inspiration and color ideas. Well, it's not just color ideas, but, you know, you want me to do more of the color pages? Well, I could do one real quick if you like. I'll just pull up design seeds and we'll do one. That might be kind of cool to end this show with. let me let me see. Let me minimize this and find my design seeds. And like I said, there's 2 a day. Uh, and if I like for today's a lot of magenta and purple. I mean, if you don't love those colors, you can still do them just to have the idea collected, or you can move on to other combinations. Like yesterday's, they had a cabbage use. I can't see chat right now. Let me just get my Neo colors out to kind of. We'll do a quick one here. Let me come back to chat for just a second, just so I can. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to use first. All right, so I'm just going to use my Neo color. You can use crayons, a box of 96 or however many. Let me bring out my crayons here. These crayons, y'all know, these are not for using. I have tons of crayons, having the kids and the grandkids and all that over the years. I have a huge box of crayons. This particular box is only for sniffing. Y'all know this is my sniffing box. It's just for sniffing. But I brought it out just to show you how many colors, pretty much every color here, you got over here too. These are just water soluble. But you can do the same thing with this for ideas. Now, let me show you one other thing that Sister Woman, I did show this last time when she gave it to me. She sent me a travel emergency crayon sniff box. So Jonna, Sister Woman, did not want me to be without an emergency sniff. So I always have my emergency sniff box from Sister Woman. Oh my goodness. So, yes. Chat keeps scrolling. Doesn't I have to keep clicking to keep scrolling down, guys. So, all right. So, anyway, yes, I took a good sniff, Janet. All right. So, I'm going to be using these because they're water soluble. But let me just let me just get a piece of paper here and just kind of show you how. Let's see, do I have any ones made already? I think I've used up all my made ones. So, I'll just make a quick one here. Let me just get a piece of paper. This is just copy paper. Let me just grab a piece of notebook paper just to, let's see here, just to make it so that nobody's intimidated. You can do this with a piece of notebook paper. Let me move some of my little swatches out of the way. Now remember, use just little blank pieces of cardstock on a ring to collect ideas, whether it be any of the things that we talked about today. You can make a whole little swatch book on just that. Okay. I think what I'll do today is I'll do a giveaway. Now, here's the thing about this giveaway. Let me warn you. I'll do a giveaway for one of these, but to put it in an envelope and mail it to you, I'm going to have to take the papers off the ring. So when you get it, if I do a giveaway, you will have to re-put all these papers, which I guess y'all won't mind, back on the ring. But I'll send you the ring and the swatches, but to lay it flat in an envelope, I'm going to have to take it apart. So if you don't want to do that, don't participate in the giveaway. Just saying. All right, so we'll do a giveaway with that in a minute. All right, so let's put casting a shadow. All right, so now I'm going to go back. If y'all can go right now if you want to the design seeds to there's 2 for the day. The top one is all kinds of fuchsias and purples, and the second one is like a cabbage with, I'll show you the colors that we're going to use. All right, so it's kind of an ochre color, kind of a goldy ochre. It's got a kind of a tealy blue. It has a purple, a dark purple. I believe this is my darkest purple. It has got a red violet color. I'm just picking the closest that I have. It doesn't have to match exactly. Don't freak out if you don't have the exact colors. It's the idea to get you going, get you inspired. And then it's got sort of a pinky purple. I mean, a pink, no, it's too pink. I want more of a purple. So I'm just going to go with this lighter lavender color. And then it's got a gray, kind of a misty gray blue. It's not exactly that, but that's pretty close. Either that or I can go with more of a gray. I can go with a gray. Which do I think I like the gray better. I just like that better, so I just picked that one. So these are sort of the colors that are in today's design seed. Okay, now I'm back to the chat. Let me scroll my thing down. AKP. Yes, don't email. Exactly. All right, so just to take something like this, I'm going to do a very simplified version so nobody gets like intimidated, just so you can see it's very simple to do this. And I'll even pull out something out of my cameo cutouts to play with as well. All right, so let's just do 6 squares. We can start with 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom. And then we'll do something here in the middle. All right? Do something like that. And I like to make them sketchy and playful, and that's why I'll do splattering and things on it just to make it fun. But this can just, even though this is perforated, I can take the perforation thing off and put this right back in that notebook. Don't feel like you have to make pieces of finished art before they can go in your idea notebook. Okay? Now, I could either do it one of 2 ways. I can either look at the different ways that they did their color swatch combination. They have them all lined up they have them 6 in a row. You can do 6, you can do 3 and 3, you can do 3 and 3. You can, however you want to do your color combination. I'm just going to kind of go with those are the first 3 that they show, and these are the bottom 3. They're like this on the thing. If you are at Design Seeds, you'll see that that's like the order that they are in. I'm just going to take the first 3 up here and the bottom 3 down there. All right, let me come back to chat. Scroll down. All right, so what I like to do, just because I enjoy the process, I enjoy using these. They're fun to play with, but you can do the same thing with a crayon. You could take a crayon and just start dark like that, and then just light, 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 light. So you don't have to have something that will actually get wet and blend. You can just do that with your crayons. Oh, can y'all see that? Hopefully. All right, same thing for this. You can just do that with your crayon rather than add water to it like I'm going to do. But I'm just going to kind of just put the colors down like this. These colors down here. And you'll just start, it's harder for me to do it while I'm talking, because I'm not thinking about this and I'm not like relaxed and focused on the different aspects of my creative process when I'm talking to you guys. So it's not like I'm going to come up with 1,000 ideas right here while I'm talking to you, but we'll come up with a couple. All right. Let me get a Kleenex to clean my water brush off because these are very concentrated. Hang on, guys, I got incoming mail. These are very concentrated, and I'll need to continuously wipe off the excess and clean my brush. All right, so there we go. So I'm just going to kind of wet them down and just kind of make my own little color swatches there. Okay, so hopefully y'all are getting a few ideas today. Hey, Susan Ribbons. All right, so now let me go ahead and get out just some kind of a cutout of some kind, just to show y'all how you can play. Let's see. Here's a butterfly and a cloud. Let's get another butterfly or something. Here's another butterfly. Actually, instead of that, I'm going to go with a shoe. We're just going to mix it up. All right, so now I need another piece of scratch paper or something here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, now you won't be able to see them because they're going to go onto a piece of white paper, but you'll see them as I color them. So what I'm going to do is I'll just take a couple of these colors and, oh, well, let me show you another tip using these water-soluble crayons. Is if you have a porcelain tray, if you're a watercolorist or do any kind of watercolor. I'm not a watercolorist. I do use some, but I'm not. It's not my preferred. You know, that's just not what I really use. But what I want to show you with these is you can put some of these colors down in the porcelain tray. I'll put all of them. I'm doing this particularly so it'll show up on camera. So there's the 6 design seed colors for the day. But what's cool about having a tray like this is this will make, it'll actually make a little watercolor pool for you where you can either blend or just pick up the color. The other thing about the Neo colors or any water soluble crayon is you can just pull it right off. You can just take it off the tip and color something. Okay, so you'll start seeing this show up when it's colored. This is why I like to cut everything out either in black or white in my Cameo. It's because then you can color it any color you want. Okay, I don't know if that color's showing up very well. But what I wanted to show you is you can just make you a little, then you just have a little watercolor swatch, and it won't, if you just add water to it, it's not going to stick to this porcelain tray. So you constantly have like just a little watercolor pan of watercolor. All right, so let's go with that teal. Just so you can kind of get the idea of other things that you can do with these. Okay? All right, let's take one of the butterflies and the cloud. Let's make a purple cloud. Let's make a purple and gray cloud here. And this is not watercolor paper. This is just plain old thin cardstock that I use for the Cameo. Okay, and then the last one here, we'll go with these other 2 shades of magenta, or what do you call it, a red violet, and just put a little bit of color, just so you can get the idea. Now what's great about this in the porcelain tray is then you just take a baby wipe when you're done. Now, acrylic, once it's dry, it is going to stick to this. This is watercolor or watercolor crayons. And then you can just wipe it all completely clean. Okay? It won't stick. All right, let me scroll my chat. Okay, there it goes. All right, so back to just making up some ideas here. We have a cloud, we have a shoe. It's just the idea of using these colors. All right, and I'll just take something like that, and you can either just take a glue stick. Now these are wet right now. They're wet because I just added that, so the glue stick is probably not going to be the best solution. So I'm just going to take my Eileen's Tacky for now. But otherwise, if these were dry, I would just stick a glue stick to it, because it's just collecting the idea. It's not to make a finished piece of art. That's not the idea. Okay? But taking these 3 things and just kind of sticking them on there like this, just randomly for now. But then I might want to come in here and see what other kind of combinations I could make with those. I might do a couple of the light blue and the turquoise, and I might be thinking about the different combinations that this, where's my Kleenex? I could be thinking about the different things that these are. For instance, this ochre color, what does it make you think of? You know, it's kind of right now, just off the top of my head, mixing it with this blue, it makes me think of mustard. All right, so I might write down, I'm going to write it with a big marker so you can see. But I might think of mustard here. And then from mustard, well, I won't go there yet. All right, this teal color, might remind me of a uh, beach, like the water at the beach, but like a Hawaii, like the real true blue Hawaii beach or tropical. Let's say tropical, a tropical beach water. It's very very vibrant. Okay, this purple might remind me of grapes. I'm just being very simplistic just to show you the idea. Uh, the uh, the magenta color kind of reminds me of different kind of berries. It really reminds me of huckleberries, huckleberry picking with my grandmother. So that might make me think of grandma. And you can make this go off into the back, or it can make you, or just go onto a whole different page. All right, probably the best just to go onto another page after you get your initial ideas because you're going to want to expand these. All right, so mustard might make you think of a hamburger and hot dogs, which might make you think of a picnic. Okay, a picnic might make you think of ants. And then, oh, I have a butterfly here. So there's my, might make me think of a butterfly. But then you got a picnic, you got mustard, you got ants, you got your tropical beach, you have grapes, which just makes me think of fruit. And that might, you see where I'm going though, how it goes. Then the huckleberry picking, that might make me think of the berries and the fruit. And you just kind of keep going with that. But then while you're writing these things down and not talking out loud, you'll visualize these things. People say, "Oh, I don't have any vision. I don't have an imagination." If you will just think of these words and picture them, you have an imagination. If you can close your eyes and think of and see a picture of grapes, you have an imagination. Okay, and then you'll combine these different stories, and you can come up with a story, a painting, an idea, whatever your creative thing is. All right, so I'm just kind of scrolling my chat back down. All right, any questions or anything? Aw. Uh, all right, so then you can, just while you're contemplating these different things, I might take, and just play with the colors while I'm thinking. I might take and I might make some splatters, like, then I'll think, oh, there's some foamy waves. And then I'm thinking, oh, there's water splattered on my mustard. I mean, I just don't overthink it. I just let my imagination go. And then you'll come up with lots of ideas. There we go. And then I just like my little page, and then I will, take some a thin Sharpie, let's say. Or let's just take a pencil because I'm not finding a Sharpie. Here's a ballpoint pen. Uh, I'm not finding a thin Sharpie. A pencil, and you can just think, just start doodling. And when I say doodle, I might just be outlining something. I might just be thinking. Something comes to me. I'll write it down. And huckleberry picking with grandma makes me think of bears because bears are always around where huckleberries are. We would go huckleberry picking up in the northwest. Northwest makes me think of, the states like Washington, Idaho, where we would do the berry picking. So you just kind of just keep writing down, doodling, coloring, sketching, scribbling, whatever. And then ideas will come to you. And then if they get full on one side, just draw an arrow and turn it over and work on the back. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I hope y'all got something out of this. Let me clean that off. And we're going to go ahead and do a quick giveaway because Jamie needs to go take a nap. All right, so what I'm going to do, guys, is I am going to give away the little a 2-inch cardstock swatch, but I will take it off of the ring so I can put it flat in an envelope, because that way I can divide these up into a flat envelope and the ring will be flat. It's just easier to mail something like that than to have to go, get a whole, get a $6 box to mail it in. All right, so what we're going to do is y'all know how it works. I know there's a delay. I know the chat's screwed up and I know all that. So, we're going to do our best. If y'all, if it bothers you to work with the lag, just don't play, and don't email me. Okay, so I'm going to write down a number between 1 and 30. Let me put test in the chat to make sure I can. Well, if I do that, I don't want anybody, don't go yet. Don't go. Oh, I know if I type something in, y'all are going to go, so I'll just wait. When I type in the word go, then put your number. All right, I'm going to write down a number between 1 and 30. Person closest, without going over, will get the little swatch book. If you don't want the swatch book, then don't play, guys. It's okay. You don't have to play. Just trying to make it a little fun. All right. So what did Carrie say about the mustard? Because she got mustard on her dress. Okay. But seriously, guys, write down the funny stories, the silly dumb things. You'll be surprised at how many ideas you will generate off of that. Okay. Person closest without going over. You girls, you're funny. I say girls mostly. Every now and then we have a guy, but mostly girls. So, but if y'all, just to give you the idea how to do it so that you can do a million different kinds of ideas and then just flip through them, that's one way. Notebooks, just a gazillion different ideas. I'll take a sip of coffee and kind of give y'all a minute because I know there's a lag. Okay, well, good. I'm glad. I hope that at least, we like to sit here and chat, and that's inspiring for a lot of us as well. So, even if you don't get something out of necessarily what I'm showing that day, we still get inspired by each other. Yeah, Carrie. All right, let me put in stop. And the number was 8. And it looks like Harriet got it right on the nose. So Harriet, you will get the little design idea swatchy thing. Okay. Yeah, thanks. I hope so, Carol. Thanks. Thanks, Colleen. I appreciate that, guys. All right, so Harriet, you won. You got it right on the nose with 8. All right, guys. Anybody can make one of these, though. It's so simple. Like I said, you can get the rings either at the office supply store or the bigger rings in the embroidery floss area of your craft store. because they're sold to hold these little plastic embroidery floss things. So you can get them in multiple sizes. And it's just a plain old, ring like that. And then this is just 2 inches of cardstock. All right, so if y'all missed the beginning, go back and get inspired. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. And I hope Josh is doing well, Dana. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.